that is the most spectacular sweetener that there is on the market. Yes. And I like to say that because it helped me to kick my sugar addiction. There it is right there. I'm also the founder of SAIRNT, SAIRNT. That stands for Sugar Addiction is Nutritional Therapy. Yes, and that was the name of my practice. Sugar addiction is real. Now, you can catch the live stream, and if you were there and it cut off, hopefully you're seeing this again. Let me know. Let me know. Sometimes, but you can catch the live stream on SAIRNT on YouTube, and on Facebook at SAIRNT, on Instagram at Some Sweet Foods, Twitter at Some Sweet Foods, Twitch at SAIRNT as well. And we're working our way up to 1,000 so that we can be going live on TikTok at SAIRNT as well. So you can get all the rebroadcasts. Will be archived, and you'll be able to get those. Right now they're still out there wherever they're posted at, and you'll be able to get those. Later on they're going to be archived, and then all of our guests, you can go listen to the rebroadcast for those. Hi Alex. Thank you for joining us today. You can go and get the rebroadcast. You can get those on the podcast. So it's just audio, and that's SAIRNT. It stands for Sugar Addiction is Real Nutritional Therapy. Oh, yes. So that is SAIRNT. And that's for I'm going to type it in here. That's YouTube and Twitch, and who else is at Facebook? They're all at SAIRNT. And so I'm typing that into the chat. And Some Sweet Foods on Instagram. Sometimes the Instagram is working, and sometimes it was working at one time. And Twitter are all Some Sweet Foods. Yes. Oh yes, and TikTok as well is SAIR. There we go. And that's TikTok as well. So you guys, our guest isn't going to join us. She's going to reschedule. So looking so forward to talking to her, because she's going to be talking to us about sugar addiction. I did do the reminders earlier. We did a toast to drinking water. Now remember our guest that we had on the other day, he did give us some advice about water, but most of it is, he has a whole chapter, or I'm not sure how many chapters, but at least one chapter in his book. That was Vernon Davis Jr. He has a whole chapter in his book on water, and he suggested to us that we look up reverse osmosis. So he didn't give us all the details, but he advised us to look up reverse osmosis. And so he's got something in his book. So go get his go take a look at his book. You can find him on Amazon. You'll just have to Google or write his name, Vernon Davis, in there, because I can't think of the name of his book at the moment. But he did give us about water, but I do still remind us, drink 4 bottles a day, because we at least need that. And so if you have your bottle, cheers. All right, now enough of that, because what we're going to talk about today is actually water-filled foods. Yes. So I don't know about you guys. The reason why I like to encourage you all to drink water is because we need it, right? I want to encourage you. This I say every time we start our show. Oh yeah. Oh, before I jump into that, if you don't know what your risk is for type 2 diabetes, head on over to the American Diabetes Association, to their website. They do have an assessment over there that you can take that will let you know what your risk is for type 2 diabetes. Okay? All right. Now, we're going to talk about today water-filled foods. And I'm hoping that my screen doesn't freeze here, because I told you how it does sometimes when I go into, if I don't stay in the same tab. So I'm going over. So there we go. We're going to talk about water-filled foods, because for me, when I drink water, the easiest way for me to drink water is if I get a cup. Now, because you guys know me, right? So remember I told you that my favorite foods when I was still eating sugar, one of my favorite things to do was drink a Slurpee, a huge Slurpee like that, you know, Slurpee, icy. You go to Sonic, they're called slushies, you know, the slush at Sonic's, whatever, that crushed ice, right? That crushed ice, sugar syrup and all of that. And thank you, Alex. And that's, you know, they're about this tall, right? This wide, you know, yeah, pretty good, about wide, big as my face, right? And those are my favorite things to drink. And I could just drink those, drink those, drink those. And I have a funny kind of palate sometimes that when like when the sugar water would be gone and then it's just that, you know, just kind of sweet and it's just cold and it's icy. Oh my God, I love that. And so, and I love to get drinks with ice, not big chunks of ice. I like the Sonic ice, the crushed ice, the small pieces of ice, you know, that smaller type ice. And I can drink like that. So like even now when I go, if I go out someplace and I get like I'll get like an unsweet tea. I like it with that crushed ice. There's this one place where I go, and if you go follow me on TikTok, you'll see what they served me there. But I like to get their unsweet tea because they have that really fine um, small ice, and I like to get that, and I can drink that like it's like a, you know, the cup is like this. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's like 32 ounces or something like that, maybe 40 ounces, 48 ounces or something like that, but it's pretty big. And so I get that really large cup, get it filled with unsweet tea, most, and I like to get extra ice, but I love the ice and I can just drink with a straw. I love to drink my drinks with a straw. If I put a straw in my water, I can drink it a lot faster than I can if I'm just turning it up and chugging it like that. I will drink more water that way. And if it's with crushed ice, if it's with ice and water, even though I stay cold a lot, if I put it with ice, I will still drink it. I mean, I'll drink it all quick and easy, no problem. But when it's like this, I tend to, you know, I'll nurse that in a long time. But if I pour this over some ice, it's gone like that. I mean, minus the, you know, brain freeze that I would get from it. But it's gone just like that. And so so I encourage you all to drink water. I tell you to drink water at the beginning of every show because maybe you haven't had a drink of water today. And sometimes some people can go, like I can go and not drink water. And so I do that as a reminder for myself, get water, drink water, and remind others to drink water because we need the water. Water does so many wonderful things for our bodies and we really really need it. And when we are dehydrated, man, we run into all sorts of problems, and especially during this time of, well, what we have going, especially like we're in the winter now everywhere. So by it being winter, you really need to stay hydrated. You need to stay hydrated as well in the summertime, but I think we forget to that we need to be as hydrated in the winter time as well. And with cold and flu season, it's very important that you stay hydrated because that also plays has an impact on your immune system. And with the, you know, other thing that we got going on, you know, it makes a huge difference to your immune system that you stay hydrated. So I wanted to talk to us about foods that have water in them. These foods will help to keep your body hydrated. Now, whether or not they're in season, that's, you know, that may or may not be, but at least you'll already have a reference for them to know about staying hydrated. So, you know, it's important again when the temperature goes up that you have water, but it's also important that you also get this water during the winter time as well because there, in again, a number of health benefits in water. So let's talk about some of the foods that help you stay hydrated. And let me see. Pull that up again. You know, sometimes. Okay. So we're going to talk about that. Uh-oh. he saw something. So first of all, I want to say that when you're dehydrated, you're going to lose sugar, you're going to lose salts, and you're going to lose water as well. So you want to stay hydrated. That your electrolytes is electrolytes. Your electrolytes are super important. That's pertains to everything, right? So, your heart, all of the stuff, your potassium, your magnesium, all the sodium salts, your glucose, as well as starches, everything. So, you want to know and stay hydrated. And, if you're experiencing like dry mouth, um, your urine, the color of your urine, like if it's super dark, that means that you are dehydrated. So, those are some things, Um, let's see here. Where did my, yeah. So, if you're urinating and sweating less than usual, this is like stuff that's going to tell you when you're dehydrated. Dry skin, feeling tired, dizziness, dry mouth, and then of course feeling thirsty. Those are some of the things. So let's look at some foods that will help us stay hydrated. So apples, apples will help you stay hydrated. So um, it's hard to eat an apple. To bite into an apple, especially if you get a good juicy one. There's really no graceful way to do it. You can bite in, it's gonna be juice, gonna be popping everywhere, running down your chin, you know. Because apples they have a lot of water in them. They also have fiber, which 3 grams of fiber. So, and it's a decent source of vitamin C. Get about 10% of your daily value. So apples are great way to stay hydrated, and especially when they're nice and juicy. Uh, Bell peppers. So bell peppers are a great way of being hydrated because they contain antioxidants and they're about 90% water. Bell peppers, and so also vitamin C. Um, they're full of vitamin C. 1 cup serving of bell peppers contains 3 times the amount of vitamin C as an orange. Huh. 1 cup. So look at that. So I know they're not. Oranges are more tasty because they're sweet, but bell peppers kind of have a little bit of sweetness to them as well. So, but look at there, bell peppers. Now, here's something that you might not think of that has water in it, but um, broccoli. So, having broccoli as part um, of your platter or whatever it is you're doing, eating broccoli, it can add some hydration because it's nearly 90% water. Yeah, so broccoli. And so the best way to get that water out of the broccoli is to eat it raw. And it includes, it's full of nutrients and fiber, iron, vitamin C, and K. And let's look at what else. So cantaloupes. Now I don't know about you guys because this is a melon. I'm not a big fan of cantaloupe, but cantaloupe, um, it's it's packed with water, and when it's chilled, I mean, it tastes better when it is chilled to me. So, and it's a very satisfying snack. So you can do cantaloupe. Did you know that carrots have a lot of water in them? So um, they're 88% water. So 88% water. Um, and they're a diet friendly, snack. So they're good for you, and you can chop them up and you can put them in a salad. You can use them, make your carrot sticks and use them as if you want the crunch, because if you're trying to stay away from chips, you can use the carrot sticks for crunch. Use it to dip in your hummus or your what else? Your bean dip or whatever it is whatever dip it is that you have. So you can use carrots for that. they're not just good for dipping in ranch. You can use some other stuff as well. Celery. Now I love celery too. Like I told, I think we talked when I talked to us one time about how I make my tuna and my egg salad. I love to chop up celery in my salad. Those kind of prepared salads like that. So I love to put celery in there because I like the crunch. And celery is actually 95% water. So, you know, when you think of them and carrots, they're actually great for, they're even better for dipping and, dipping whatever, hummus, your tuna, use it as a dip for your tuna salad, for your egg salad. I like it with that too, to dip things like that, more things than just ranch dressing, and it's a good source of potassium and vitamin K. So it's a great vehicle for dipping, and it's got a lot of potassium and vitamin K and a lot of water. And I love celery. The next thing is cottage cheese. Now we know cottage cheese has water. If you eat cottage cheese, you know because you've seen some whey, the liquid floating on the top. So it's got water in it, and it's about 80% water, in fact. So that's and cottage cheese is great to. I like to use it to make a fruit salad with. Like I would mix the cottage cheese with, what did I do? Let me see. I mixed the cottage cheese with heavy whipping cream and make one of my fruit salads with. And if I don't use the heavy whipping cream, I can just use the cottage cheese by itself. Add a little. I was gonna pick it up some sweet to it. Add a little some sweet to it to sweeten it. Some vanilla. Throw in some pecans and some canned mandarins, because I would get the canned mandarins, but I throw the juice away. I don't keep the juice because it's in a light syrup, which I believe is a fruit juice syrup. It's in a light syrup, and I would throw that away. And then canned pineapples. And again, I save the juice on the canned pineapples for maybe a smoothie or something like that, but don't add it, and just, strain it off and throw the pineapples in there. And that is for me, that, I mean, just the cottage cheese, that, some vanilla, it's a little some sweet to sweeten up for the cottage cheese. You don't have to, when you're using the mandarins and the pineapples, you don't need to add the some sweet to it. But if you want something a little bit sweeter, you can add the some sweet. And hey, that is a great snack, and it tastes good. Also, I used to do that and use I would use cream cheese, not cream cheese, cheesecake pudding mix, or pistachio pudding mix added in there, or a lemon pudding mix and added in there. And that's, just that, those two together, that makes a very nice tasting type of dessert. So there you have it. But it's 80% water, the cottage cheese is. And you can just, also just throw some berries in there, raspberries, blueberries, granola, put them all in there, and there you got something delicious there as well. So look at there, I gave you some recipes today. All right, the next thing is cucumbers. Now, I love cucumbers. When I go to the store, I like to get the mini cucumbers for salads. They're so good. You just, you can just chop it up in there and put it in your salad. Now, they go bad really fast depending on where I get them from, but the mini cucumbers are the ones that I like to get to add to my salad. And in fact, if I'm not adding an apple into my salads, because I always put apples in my salads, I'm using either an apple or a mini cucumber, and sometimes both, half an apple, half a cucumber, because the cucumber has less carbs than the apple, right? But cucumbers consist of 96% water, so it's ready to go. It's full of water. And what other food? And a lot of these foods on this list are like my favorites. So the next thing is grapefruit. So can you guess how much water there is in a grapefruit? I mean, it's got a lot of water because it's full of juice. So um, it's 1 cup, a full cup. That's about how much water is in a grapefruit. So, yeah, there's a lot of water in there, a lot of hydration power in the grapefruit. And it also contains twice the amount of vitamin C that you need every day. So, you get a hefty dose of antioxidants and you get 1 cup. 1 cup, that's half of that bottle. So, and if you love, I love grapefruits, in fact. And grapefruits are also known to be a little bit more on the fat burning side. So, there's another added benefit to grapefruits, which I absolutely love. And do not put sugar on top of them, it's not necessary. Well, if you got a sweet tooth, I guess you can use some Sweet Plus. All right, the next thing on the list is honeydew. Now, again, honeydew tastes a lot. It's milder taste than cantaloupe, because cantaloupe is kind of like a muskmelon type, but and honeydew has a milder taste than cantaloupe. But we're almost getting back to the melons that are probably my favorite. But it has vitamin C and potassium, and honeydew melons contain as much water as a cantaloupe. So they have the same they have pretty much the same amount of water. They look very similar. So honeydew melon, which would so that would be a great thing to add to your diet if you like honeydews. Now this one I am like totally shocked, but you know, I am really like shocked that it's got that much water in it, but it is kale. Kale is almost 90% water. Yeah, it's a superfood, right? It's got hefty doses of vitamin A, vitamin C, and K. It's got protein, fiber, omega-3 fatty acids. I mean, it's a superfood. Yeah. So, kale, 90% water. Yes. So if you can eat the leaves of kale, you'll get you a good dose of water. All right. And lettuce. So, lettuce. Kale has a lot of water, and so do most lettuce varieties. Iceberg, romaine. Now, I wouldn't tell you to eat iceberg because I have yet to find anything that says that iceberg lettuce actually has nutritional benefits. I mean, a lot of nutritional benefits. So I would not say go grab iceberg lettuce. I don't actually like the taste of iceberg lettuce. My favorite lettuce is butter lettuce. And so I usually eat between 3 and 6 ounces of butter lettuce a day. So that's my favorite is butter lettuce. It's soft. It's also called Bib lettuce. I'm trying to think if there's any other names that it goes by, but I like butter lettuce because the leaves are softer. But if I am, but when I get tired of butter lettuce, my second favorite is romaine. It's great crunch in there, and that romaine has a lot of water in it because you get the water when you bite into it. It's like bursting with water. So it's the lettuce is right up there, with the cucumbers, for the amount of water. And iceberg lettuce, it does have a lot of water in it. So. Oranges. Now, we've compared a whole lot of stuff to oranges and things that have more vitamin C than oranges, but we know that oranges are good and they are packed with water. They got fiber, antioxidants, and vitamin C. And let me tell you something about oranges. Now, I don't know if this is just oranges. I mean, this is something personal to me. Like, I have 2 little Mandarin oranges. Every day I try and have 2 because they help with digestion. So after I have dinner or eat dinner, I'll have 2 oranges to help me with digestion because they help me stay regular. So you all will have to find out whether or not something like that works for you, whether oranges would work or lemons or limes or something like that, some citrus fruit. that, they're full of juice, they're sweet, they're full of all the vitamin C and all the goodness, but then also they, and the fiber, because you get the pith that's always on them. That's the white stuff that still kind of remains. I don't throw away the pith. When it stays on the orange, I go ahead and eat it because that's more fiber and more nutrients to add to my body. Yes. Uh-oh. Something got him going. Somebody's outside. He's doing his job. He's guarding. So let me see here. I was going to go grab my, come back over and check and see what we got going. Oh, Rosie says she likes to drink water with a straw as well. Yup, yup, yup. Like to drink water with the straw. Alex loves red bell peppers. Yep, those are great. I love the different. I like the orange and the red better. Um, the and the yellow as well, better than the green. I don't like the green as much. I like the other colors. They're more vibrant. They taste better. They're sweeter to me. I like them a lot. So the next food, peaches. So now I've had some dry. Was it peaches or apricots that I had last summer? They were dry, but they were good. But they were not as juicy as they could have been. But they were kind of on the dry side. But um, you can get peaches. Don't get them packed in syrup. But peaches are nearly 90% water, and they're full of vitamins A, C, E, and K, as well as fiber, potassium, and again, 90% water. 90%. So, you don't have to get them in a can. If you do, you don't want to get them packed in heavy syrup. Most of the time when I see peaches, they're packed in heavy syrup. Fresh is always best if you can catch them when they're in season. Now we know things like pineapple has a lot of juice, but it's nearly just about 85% water. So some of the other fruits and veggies that we've talked about actually have more water than pineapple. But we know that they're juicy, right? So but they have 85% water, and they have, in addition to the vitamins that they have an enzyme in them that's called bromelain, and that helps with inflammation, digestion, sinusitis, and osteoarthritis. So they have bromelain in them. Again, that's an enzyme that helps with inflammation. So there you go. Get you some water, get hydrated, you know, get you some fiber and nutrients, vitamins, and some bromelain. It's kind of like, if it's going to help with the inflammation, it would be kind of like taking something, whatever you would take that would help with inflammation. You could just do some pineapples instead. All right, next on the list is spinach. Now, spinach is more than 90% water, and the 10% that isn't water is bursting with calcium. Okay, so it has calcium, magnesium, and carotenoids. So that's making spinach, knocking it right on up there to be a superfood, just like kale. So if you get you some spinach and some kale together, you got a great combination. So, and you remember Popeye? He told us to eat spinach, right? Popeye the Sailor Man. All right. What's next on the list is strawberries. Strawberries. So they're super juicy. We know this, right? That strawberries are juicy. They're a great source of vitamin C and antioxidants. So when they're in season, get them and eat them while you can. Get you some strawberries. And I know that I've seen, like I know that whenever I would get the strawberries, like they would mold really quick. So I have seen, and I'll probably talk about it at another time, or maybe I'll post it up on a TikTok of how to preserve your strawberries, where I see that you preserve your strawberries. when they're in season, and you get them and they're putting them in mason jars and things like that. So I'll find that, I'll share it and post it up on TikTok. So you guys go follow me on TikTok to see that. But that way you can know how to preserve your strawberries when they're in season. Also, whenever we get them, we always get them. We put them in a bowl of vinegar with water, cold water, and wash them. So, and then just when we get them, we just put them in the refrigerator, put them in a bowl, and just we can go grab them like that. Same way we do cherries, same way we do grapes, right? All right, so the next thing on the list is tomatoes, and they contain about 95% water. Look at their tomatoes. So they have a lot of water in them. So, you know, and they're really good. I like, again, the little cherry tomatoes, little grape tomatoes. You can just pop them in your mouth, and yes, they're bursting with water and flavor. They're really, really good. And if you get like the bigger tomatoes, what are those ones called? I can't think of what they're called now. But the big ones that are like this, and you slice into it, oh my gosh, I love tomatoes. I love them. Now this food. Now let me tell y'all something. When I did keto, yes, I did keto. Remember I told you all I did keto. When I did keto, I didn't stay on it for very long because I ended up with the electrolyte issues. But not only that, there was a food that came into season, and it made me say, I can't eat this. What? I can't have that. By keto. And it was watermelon. Why? Watermelon is one of the healthiest, most nutritious fruits that you can eat. You would just be amazed. Watermelon, I mean, the name itself, it contains water, and it has vitamins A, B, and C, and it has antioxidant lycopene. It has more of that than tomatoes do. So, I mean, and I absolutely love watermelon. In the summertime, I can eat, like, I can eat a bowl of it, and it flushes you. You can get a great detox with watermelon because it will flush you. It's really, really great. It will hydrate you. It will flush you. It's really a great food. It's one of those, we've talked about the superfoods that are the vegetables, but watermelon is one of the superfoods that is a fruit. So, but if you're diabetic or you're otherwise watching your sugars, you'll want to be careful with watermelon because they are super, super sweet, but they are super, super good for you. Full of fiber, full of vitamins A, B, and C, lycopene. It's an antioxidant, and full of water. So, yes, that's one of my favorite, absolute favorite foods. And then we're gonna stop here. Zucchini. Zucchini, it looks like a cucumber. So many wonderful things you can do with it, but it doesn't have quite as much water as a cucumber. It comes pretty close. It's got 92% water, which means you can do a lot of things with them. You can cook them on your grill without drying them out. You can grill them. If you wanted to chop them up, spiralize them, make pasta with them, a type of pasta, which is not really pasta, but when you spiralize them, it looks like pasta. Put your pasta sauce on them, things like that. So, it's great. And, you can chop them up. I've seen zucchini sticks, chips, all kind of things you can do with zucchini. But yes, zucchini bread. People like to make zucchini bread and things like that. So there's all kind of things that you can do. But it is 92% water. So, I mean, what about you all? Do you guys know of any other foods that maybe I didn't? Beefsteak tomatoes. That's the name of the tomato. Yes, thank you. Beefsteak tomatoes. Yes. But what about you all? Do you got some other? Were there any favorites that you had on the list? I saw someone said that they had a favorite on the list. Red bell peppers. Any other favorites? Anything else that you guys like on the list? I'm thinking Right now we can get hydrated. We can stay hydrated by right now by adding these foods to our diet, so that we'll be getting water from the food, we'll be getting water from drinking water. And and if like if you can't drink water, sometimes you might want to do some ice and just suck on some ice chips. That's what, when you're in the hospital, especially ladies, if you've ever had a baby or anything like that, you're in the hospital, they give you, ice chips to suck on. You can't just drink water, but you can get some ice chips and stuff. But I like to eat ice. I don't know why I like to eat ice, but I do like to chew and crunch on ice. So I love ice. It makes the water so much more refreshing to me, for me to be able to drink it. So whatever you got to do to get your hydration in, to stay hydrated, do it. Do it, because you do not want the consequences that come from being dehydrated. You don't want those. You don't want those things. The symptoms that you're dehydrated: feeling thirsty, dry mouth, urinating, and sweating less than usual. But you know what happens to me when I don't drink enough water? I don't urinate less. I urinate more. Do you know why? Because it affects my bladder. Could be, from, I don't know why. But just that little bit of just having that little bit of not enough hydration, and just that little bit of pee there makes me want to go. And then I'd be like, ooh, I didn't drink enough water today. So you know what I do? I turn up and I drink a whole lot of water, and when I do that, I have one good flush, one good pee, and and that goes away. So that's what happens to me. For every, things happen differently to different people. All of our bodies are different, but there are some basic things that are the same. We need to stay hydrated. So that is one of the basic things, and that's how I know. One of the ways that I can tell when I haven't drank enough water during the day, because it happens to me. It happens. It happens that I'll go and be like, I didn't drink any water today. Because most of the time, like I said before, like, I'm super great at fasting. I'm super great at going without eating. So I'm super great at that. And if I don't eat anything, I don't drink anything. So I have to purposely keep water around, keep it by me. What are some tips and tricks that you guys do to make sure that you drink? I have to keep it with me. I have to bring, keep the bottle right there, um, right at my feet, right there, on the table, whatever, so that I make sure that I'm having water all around me all the time, to make sure that I drink. Because if I don't, it's super easy for me not to. And I have never experienced excessive thirst, but that might come with like extreme dehydration. But I can tell you that one time when I know that I was dehydrated, and I had to be rushed to the hospital. I was like, my blood pressure like got really really high, and I don't have blood pressure issues at all. But at that time, my blood pressure got really really high, when I thought that it was my blood pressure, like I was maybe gonna have blood pressure issues. But when I was there, they said no. If you're dehydrated, your blood pressure will go up. And so that was one of the things that I know, because I was experiencing all kind of just different issues that made me be like, y'all better call the ambulance. And I had to be rushed to the hospital, and they gave me fluids, through the IV, and my blood pressure, it dropped right back down, because I don't have blood pressure issues. That's not an issue that I have. So yeah, so stay hydrated, because all of the symptoms that I mentioned, those things could happen to you. They could happen to you. It's really hard to say, because but one or two, or some of those symptoms or some other things may happen when you get dehydrated. But it's super important that you um, that you stay hydrated, and watch the color of your urine. It should be, they say, straw colored, and that's straw color going into and over the water. So it should be lighter than the straw color. It should be like almost clear. And as a matter of fact, in our last few minutes here, I'm gonna go over the colors of your urine. I mean, I wish I could show you the picture. I can't share screens with you all yet, but just the color of the urine when you go, because I know that you know what, I might just go ahead and find this and post this over on TikTok, and we'll talk about it over on TikTok about staying hydrated. So, you know, when your urine is pale and odorless, you're hydrated. When you're mildly dehydrated is when it's slightly darker yellow. And that's not even that dark, right? So it's like when you can see it and it looks really like you go, oh yeah, I'm hydrated. You know, it's like really straw color and like you can see yellow. Then you're mildly dehydrated, and when you're dehydrated it gets darker, and then when you're very dehydrated, I mean, it's like super dark and maybe almost brown, strong smelling and all of that. So you would want to drink water immediately. You know, if you're somewhat dehydrated, you want to drink 2 to 3 glasses. If you're mildly dehydrated, you just need a glass. And if you're like super duper, if you're hydrated, then you can just keep drinking at the same rate. But I think I'm going to post this over on TikTok so that you guys can, so you have a reference to be able to see it. Okay. Because I can't share it here. I can't share a screen here. But that's going to be it for today. You all, what you think about this today? Let's stay hydrated, okay? Promise me, promise me, promise me. All right. Matter of fact, let's do a toast to drinking water. Cheers. All right. All right. So that's it for today, y'all. Until next time, again, go find us on SAIRNT on YouTube, SAIRNT on Facebook, SAIRNT. Am I spelling it? SAIRNT on TikTok, and SAIRNT on Twitch. I'm sorry, and then Some Sweet Foods on Twitter, and Some Sweet Foods on Instagram. Okay. All right. And also, our guests we'll be having guests next week. Sorry, I'll announce who they are tomorrow. But thank you all so much for joining me. Until next time, peace and blessings.